In my previous videos, I have shown how the shift in cosmological understanding has corrupted what I called old world understanding. The cosmological shift has been from a polar-centric to a solar-centric worldview. The polar-centric to the solar-centric view corresponds to the shift from the flat Earth cosmology to the globe Earth cosmology. The polar-centric cosmology understands that the Sun and the Moon are local, similar in size, and spiralling around a central axis. The spiraling patterns create the seasons, months, and days. The polar-centric cosmology also describes the heavens as a great wheel. We can see this wheel as the turning of the stars in the night sky around a fixed point. This fixed point is Polaris, the North Star. Conveniently, the solar cosmology also promoted world ages via the precession of the equinoxes and claimed changes in the position of Polaris over time, both of which are deceptions to support the solar cosmology. There are many analogies that have been used to describe the world axis and the fixed point known as Polaris. The world axis is known as the number 1, a pillar, a post, a phallus, a horn, a spine, a sword, a tower, a tent pole, a standing stone, a mountain, a gnomon, a staff, a wand, a ladder, a fire from which smoke rises to heaven, and a tree. The North Star is regarded as the highest place in the universe and as such is given the highest attributes. The North Star is also known as a peg, an eye, the keystone in the arch of heaven, a bird, a goat, or a ram. For instance, the goat or ram is symbolized as the North Star because of its ability to climb high up on the mountains, in this case the World Mountain. Or the bird is symbolized as the North Star because of its ability to perch upon the highest branches of the tree, in this case the World Tree. The world axis was also viewed as an axle of the great wheel in the sky, Ursa Minor and Major being the bearings of that wheel. The axis was thought to reach from the centre of Earth to the centre of heaven. The axis is understood to be the firm foundation of the world. This is because if the axle were to become unsteady, it would throw the sun and moon out of alignment, and the destruction of the universe would occur. It's for this reason that the world axis is seen as the creator of order within the universe. It is the world axis that becomes the ultimate arbiter of truth and justice. The world axis, as governor of cycles, is personified as the Lord of Time, being that it guides both the sun and the moon. Much the same as the central pivot guides the hands of a clock, time and its cycles are an expression of the central axis. The paradox of the world axis is that it governs the cycles of time while being unmoved and timeless. In the past, the moving of the heavens was analogized to be the threshing floor or any mechanism that turned in a circular fashion, whether it be the mill for grinding flour or the mill for grinding olives for oil. The threshing floor is the origin of the zodiac meaning animal circle. The central pillar in the centre of the threshing floor and other animal circles guided the animals, whether being a horse, ox, donkey or other beast of burden. The animals were then analogies as the power behind the turning of the cosmos, the turning of the heavens, held and governed by the world axis. They themselves become a symbol of cosmic power. There are many sky deities that have the characteristics of the bull, ram, cow or horse. The threshing floor had a secondary use as a sundial, the gnomon in the centre a representation of the world axis. The shadow of the gnomon equivalent to the horse or ox or animal that was moving around the threshing floor. It's for this reason correlations between the horse and hour can be made, as well as horse and horai, the goddesses of the seasons. It should be mentioned that the study of time is horology, again having roots to the horse, hour, and also Horus, the falcon-headed deity of the Egyptians, who like the eagle sits on top of the world tree. The threshing floor in geometric terms is the monad. This is the first action that the compass takes to produce ratios and mathematics of the universe from which unfurl through the vesica. Since the switch from polar to solar, the monad became known as the sun symbol. This switch cut the links to its original symbolic meaning. The monad is seen behind the heads of deities and saints, now claimed to be solar deities, but in fact the word halo from the Greek halos has etymological links to the threshing floor, holos also meaning universe or world. Almost all deities that are claimed to be sun gods or part of the old solar cults are in fact not solar deities at all, but personifications of the world axis. The world axis, as explained, is the pillar that extends from heaven to earth. This pillar is the link between earth and sky. The earth and sky are seen as polarities, above and below, positive and negative. The sky as wind and the earth as water. The etheric and the material, mind and matter. The world axis therefore becomes a representation of the linking of polarity into one expression. Since the whole world can be expressed in male or female elements, positive and negative, hot and cold, light and dark, then the world axis is a representation of the whole of reality. The world axis is a representation of the number one, the unity, the wholeness. The one cannot be separated from the circle that it creates, the zero or infinity. So the world axis is both the zero and the one from which all other numbers are produced. The personification of this wholeness is the deity that expresses these attributes. The deities of the old world will display attributes of masculine or feminine qualities, and it was well understood that the deities could take on either of the masculine or the feminine forms, because they were attributes of the One. The Trinity is an expression of the understanding of the three aspects into one form, the masculine, the feminine, and the union of masculine and feminine. In some personifications, the One was seen as the child. The child is born of the union of the masculine and the feminine, father and mother, mind and matter. The mother, the father, and the child are the Trinity. The child has attributes of the father and the mother. It is because of this notion that it was realized that everyone is an example of the unity, and they themselves are the wholeness and a representation of the whole world. The change from polar-centric ideas to solar-centric ideas broke down the symbolic connections, and the deities became solar-orientated. The sun amalgamated the polar axis. When the sun and the moon are understood to be polarities, the sun-centric ideologies become unbalanced and still remain unbalanced. The polar deities that are forced into solar-centric ideologies lose their meaning and substance, and the preachers of the solar-centric ideologies preach an unbalanced doctrine. The extensiveness of the switch cannot be underestimated. That it's more probable that the word for sun, solar, and helios are in fact not originally terms for the fire in the sky, but instead originally terms to denote the world axis.